Hi guys, welcome to week 14 and the final week of the regular season of fantasy football. Just a quick reminder before we get started, next week is the start of the Pro Bowl selection. So we're going to have to break down into Div 1, Div 2 chats again to select our Fantasy Pro Bowl teams for week 17. So remember to get your votes in. Yeah, and yeah, pick guys you think would do the best in week 17. Obviously, we learned last season to consider the fact that some guys might get rested in week 17 and not just to select them as a lesson Div 1 learn. Anyway, let's get into the all important predictions for week 14. And I'm going to start with me versus Tom. Obviously, this is a must win for me. I'm coming off an okay but not fantastic start from Thursday with Cooper and Dak having both gone. Tom is currently dealing with a litany of injury issues, and it's going to be difficult for him to work out who he wants to cut to select his kicker this week. Tom also faces a bit of an issue at QB. Jackson's obviously gone in this far, but in conditions in Buffalo, they're looking pretty bad. It's expected to be very cold. Winds are going to be regularly between 15 to 20 miles an hour, and gusts taking up to maybe 30 miles an hour. That's really going to affect the ability to hold a football and to throw one. Maybe he wants to start Rogers this week. Um, find out. I think I'm going to stand a sort of chance of winning this. I do need to pick the perfect team, and I'm going back and forth constantly in a moment as to who I need to start on the flex. Whether it's Kirk, whether it's Slayton. I think if I go for Slayton, then I'm keeping my fantasy hopes alive. A bit longer. Um, but my head tells me that Kirk is probably the better play. Tune in at 9:25 to see which is one out of my heart or my head on this one. Personally, I think Tom is probably going to emerge victorious because I'm confident I'm not going to pick the perfect team like I'd like to. Yeah, I think let's watch that Phillies Giants game anyway, just to find out whether my predictions are correct. Ian v Tress. I'm pretty sure that both teams are in the playoffs this week, even if Ian isn't next week. Even if I'm not certain that Ian is a mathematical certainty at this stage. He's currently got Howard, who is in his lineup, but he hasn't been cleared for contact yet after his shoulder injury, and he's not going to get another chance to practice. I think he's a very risky player to keep in his lineup. If he can't go, then Ian needs to play either Lard or Jones, neither of which are really that attractive options. Um, so he's going to have to make some decisions there pretty soon. And because of that, I would normally at this stage then pick the Weetabix Warrior to win here, but I did notice he's dropped the Patriots defense, or he's put them on his bench at the very least, which is a stunning move because they've basically carried him to his 9 wins so far this season. And if Triss doesn't have the faith in the Patriots D, then I can't really have faith in Triss. I'm saying Ian wins this one, and let's watch the Chief Pats game here to find out how big of a mistake Triss has made by not playing his defense. Let's move on to Phil the Stew. Yeah. What's his name? Zeke finally turned up for Phil this week, which is ideal timing for me and also for Phil, who needs to win just to make sure he doesn't go into that rename shame game with Mo. Stu is currently down 2 tight ends, but thankfully he's got Hooper coming back from his injuries. Hooper had a very impressive season up until the point where he got injured. I think he had 4 consecutive weeks with touchdowns. And I think coming back, he's coming against a tough matchup. He's going to be matched up a lot against Keekly and Eric Reed, who are both very good, linebackers and tight ends, and safety. Sorry. So it's going to be a strong one, difficult one to come back. But I think, because of this, I'm going to say that Phil squeaks by. But let's watch that Panthers travel to Atlanta. That's going to be your game of the week, guys. I think Phil ekes out the win. Brad v Andy. Andy has rostered both the Saints defense and the Rams defense, who are up against each other this week, and he's decided to play the Seahawks defense, which I'm not, who are on the road. I'm not saying that's the wrong decision, but I am fascinated as to why he's chosen the Seahawks defense over the Rams defense to play this week. Um, it's been a weird year for both these guys. On paper, both very strong teams. Andy has that top three QB, and he's got Hunter Henry and two very dependable wide receivers. But he only has 4 wins. Brad has Mike Thomas, who's had 110 targets. 110 receptions so far this year. Um, and with 4 weeks to go, he could very easily chase down Marvin Harris's season record of 143. And yet somehow that hasn't generated a playoff place yet for Brad. Yeah, this matchup uh, features four Browns Bengals players who are playing against each other today. This is going to be another breezy game, by the way, and that's going to be your game to watch. I think I'm going to pick Brad to a win here, but like I said, it's been a weird season for both these guys. I find that kind of interesting. Finally, let's go on to Mo v Ryan. Mo has nothing on the line in this one. He's already made the rename Shane game, and he's already made a bold declaration that he's going to start Jimmy G, who only scored 9 points last week. Ryan, for his part, is playing Aaron Jones at home, where it's expected to be cold and a little drizzly. Factor that in along with the trio of Ravens players who we've already mentioned, the difficult conditions that are going to be in Buffalo. Ryan has the all-important weather disadvantage coming into this week, and for that reason, I have to back Mo. You guys have no guys in direct competition against each other, so I'm not going to tell you which game to watch. You guys can watch whatever you want. That's week 14 done, guys. Have a good week, and I will hopefully see some of you in the playoffs, but more likely the consolidation game. Cheers.